When DailyMail.com revealed shocking images of some of the worst hoarders ever, readers were transfixed by the trash. Disgusting debris, floors of filth, rooms just ravaged with rubbish. Well, today, we have the legal battles waging over waste and are revealing hoarder horrors hitting too close to home. Legal analyst and trial attorney Misty Marris is here now with more. So, Misty, in a Michigan complex, angry neighbors claim they had to vacate because of vermin. What's going on here?
Yeah, so they claim that this father and daughter's mess was going into their units because they had rats, roaches, and fleas, Jesse. So when you look at these pictures, they're as bad as can be. You can't even see the floor of this hoarder's apartment. And in addition to that, they have 6 chihuahuas running around, adding feces and urine to the mix. So what's worse than all of that? There's a baby in that unit. So obviously, and no question about it, the condo association wants these hoarders out.
Yeah, hoarding's not a joke. It's nothing to be taken lightly. We know that hoarding is a serious mental illness and mental disorder, but how does it qualify as a criminal offense?
Yeah, so here the condo and the town were looking to qualify this as a public nuisance. And you have to show that it's a continuous and serious risk. So that's why you can go to the court. The court, if they declare it a public nuisance, the court's now in charge of that cleanup. But in this case, it went well beyond a dirty condominium. Here you had big issues. The Humane Society came in, the poor mistreatment of these 6 chihuahuas. The Department of Child Services looked into the situation because there's a baby. And this is a common issue with hoarders. This is a major fire hazard. When you have this type of debris around, if there's a fire in that unit, it's going to spread throughout the whole condominium. Not to mention the fact that first responders have to get in there and now their lives are at risk. So no question about it, there's a reason for these building codes, sanitation codes, and not surprisingly, these hoarders had violated those codes, failed to make the proper remediation, and that's what led to this ultra severe situation.
All right, so hoarding obviously not just dangerous for the people that are actually doing it themselves, but to all of those living around them as well. What if the hoarder is renting? They're a tenant that's renting their apartment or their house. Is it easier then?
You would think it would be easier, but actually, Jesse, it can be a very laborious process. So, of course, if you're creating a health hazard in your apartment, the landlord is going to have the right to bring an eviction proceeding. But that takes a long time because the law is very grounded in tenants' rights. So right now, we're looking at photographs from a New York City apartment, and I mean in completely deplorable conditions. It took a year for the superintendent to get into this unit to be able to clean it up. This is despite the fact that neighbors made constant complaints about the smell of a decaying corpse. Now, what happened when they actually got in? There was a decaying corpse. This man was sleeping on a bed. Underneath the mattress was a dead, decomposing cat. Now, if you don't think that's bad enough, the pictures of cockroaches teeming up the walls of this unit will absolutely make your skin crawl. I can barely look at the photo myself.
Okay, so Misty, we know hoarding is dangerous to one's health. It can be a fire hazard. It's dangerous certainly to animals. But we're finding out that hoarding can actually kill. Is it true that people have actually died from their own junk and trash?
It's unfortunately true. So first we have an Ohio woman now. She was able to be rescued, but she was pinned up by her garbage against the wall for 2 days before rescuers got to her. Another man, unfortunately, a sadder scenario. Rescue workers were unable to get through the door, actually had to cut the door in half to get in. He was already deceased. But in a truly notorious story that Daily Mail uncovered and has vintage photos of, you have 2 New York City brothers who were in such clutter and trash that they actually created tunnels. They both died. One died because the tunnel collapsed on them. The other died from starvation. Now, when they got into this apartment, rescue workers, they removed 100 tons of trash.
These are unbelievable stories, and as you mentioned, hoarding is a serious, serious problem. Misty, thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your insight.